stone vet. I hit the ground running when I'm invading your country. And still with honor and discipline, throw my guns like onyx. Dressed in camo with ammo for every situation I handle. They got us marching this.
What's up, guys? Sergeant G here from the STONED VET USMC. Super excited to be here with you guys, man. Like I tell you, I shoot these episodes so you have something amazing to listen to at the end of the long week. Hopefully it hasn't been too long for you guys, being that it's Labor Day had ended, and it's only a 4-day week, right? For me, it was only a 3-day work week because I took an extra holiday day. I took an extra holiday day of leave off after the holiday, because that's just what I do. It's easier to take the day after off than the day before off. For me, I enjoy it because I don't have to deal with the nonsense, because when everybody takes the day off the day before the holiday, so they're all gone, so I'm at work and I don't have to deal with nonsense, and everybody comes back from the holiday and I take that day off because everybody's back, and then that's more nonsense you got to deal with, you know. But I'm super excited to be with you guys, man. Like I said, it's another great week. I got another great guest on the show this week, and I'm super ecstatic to be able to have another freaking jarhead to come hang out with me, who believes in the same things that I believe in, who understands plant-based medicine to a standard that we all should be having a better understanding of how plant-based medicine can help, man. I want to give a huge shout out to my first sponsor, Rafa 180. Rafa 180 provides the best medicinal grade CBD on the market, hands down. It's 100% THC free, so if you're like me and you can't consume THC products right now, go check out Rafa 180 to get all your medicinal grade CBD needs, right? I tell you guys, on a weekly basis, you have an endocannabinoid system that needs to be replenished on a regular basis, right? When was the last time you replenished your endocannabinoid system? If you don't believe me, go over to NIH.gov. That's November India Hotel.gov. Yes, .gov website. It's a government website telling you the importance of your endocannabinoid system and what kind of key roles it plays to your health. If you don't believe me, go check it out, and then come back to Rafa 180. That's Romeo Alpha Papa Hotel Alpha 180.com to get all your medicinal grade CBD needs. And trust me, it's hard to figure out what type of CBD do I need, what strength do I need, what about this, what about that. They have a phone number, they have an email address at the bottom of the website. Give them a call or email and say, hey, I heard Sergeant G was saying that I need some CBD. I don't know where to start. And guess what? They'll hold your hand and make sure they get you on the proper product, on the proper dosing, and ensure that you replenish your endocannabinoid system. You check out with the STONED VET USMC, get 15% off your entire purchase, man. Spend $85 or more and you get free priority shipping to your front door, dude. You can't beat it, man. You cannot beat this. So go check them out, man. You guys can see these, right? I got that beautiful shiny logo up there, right? The STONED VET. Right below that, if you guys are watching on YouTube, you see that winner, right? Top Marine Corps podcast, right? The only reason I'm the Top Marine Corps podcast because you guys that are listening in on a weekly basis, listening to my nonsense, listening to the content I'm providing you on a weekly basis, guys. And then down below that, my Chronic Palooza Award for 2022, right? You can see these beautiful awards, right? I got the beautiful Crystal Chronic Palooza Awards for 2022, and my beautiful Gold Warhammer for 2021 Veteran Podcast Awards. Veteran Podcast Awards is on as voting has opened up, right? Voting is only open till the 18th of this month. Like I said, I will have in the description box, however you listen to this, I'll have a hyperlink so you can get over there and vote for the #1 Marine Corps podcast, guys. Like I tell you guys, this is not my podcast. This is your podcast. You guys that are listening in to come hang out and enjoy this time together with my brother, right? Another freaking veteran, right? Another veteran to be able to be like, man, I deal with that same crap. I do. Man, I have those issues as well, right? What better way to hear it than from another veteran who's dealing with it, who has found an alternative to the opioids the VA continues pounding down our throats on a weekly basis, right? I hear your guys' stories. Some of y'all take 10 pills a day. Some of y'all take 20, 30, 40 pills a day just to live the so-called normal life, right? You know, but if you guys, like I said, if you guys are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Share this content. Get everybody out there to listen to this content, right? You want people to listen to what you're listening to, right? Because if they don't believe you with plant-based medicine, give it to somebody else, right? That's why you got me. That's why we got today. I got Mr. 1620 Marine Pablo here with me today as well. What's up, brother? How you doing today?
Was good, brother. It's a pleasure to be on here. I truly appreciate you having me on here. And again, like you said, it's always an honor to be on this mission with another jarhead, another devil dog.
Right.
And again, I love all my other branches, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, but nothing like running into another Marine and just already automatically building that bond. But again, congratulations on the awards. And that hammer is dope, brother. That's a dope
Absolutely, brother.
award.
No,
And
absolutely.
anyone listening, make sure you go and vote for the Stone Veteran, because this is how he gets his feedback. This is
Right.
how he works harder and puts out better information by us taking the time to support and go vote. So make sure you do that. You said by the 18th, right?
The 18th of September, yes, sir. 18th September is when voting closes out. So I got a couple more weeks left, right? And so this is what it's about, guys. This is why I do a podcast, right? You guys know I gotta tell you guys on a weekly basis. This is my counseling session, right? If you guys are like me, we hate talking to counselors. We hate reaching out to counselors, right? I've already had like 14, 15 different counselors, and it sucks because you got to open back up again. You got to build that relationship with them again, and it sucks, right? So this is why I tell you guys. This is why I'm so excited to be able to do this on a weekly basis, because this is like my counseling session. I get to hang out with my brother and my sister. I get to bring on the show, and I'm able to come and hang out. And we just shoot the shit, right? You guys remember what it was like after a long week, right? You remember being in the military. The long weeks was always after the holiday. That long week was always after the holiday. When you got back on the grind, you guys had to go and catch up on all the work you missed during the holiday of leave, right? And you know what it was like to go to the smoke pen on a Friday night, and you're like, good, we don't have to work this weekend, luckily, because we got everything done Tuesday through freaking Friday. We got everything done, so we don't have to work this weekend. So everybody goes to the smoke pit, right? Somebody's bringing the alcohol, somebody's got the grill going, somebody's bringing the meat, right? We're just coming to hang out. So the music's playing, we're coming to relax, we're coming to enjoy ourselves, right? And this is the whole reason I like doing the podcast, because I'm able to do this, right? Because it sucks now, right? We get out of service, and it's like, dude, I don't have any camaraderie. I don't have any brothers or sisters close to me. I don't have anybody to be able to come and just BS with, right? And it sucks, right? But this is one of the things I tell you guys about on a weekly basis, is that you have got to build your community around you wherever you live. I can't tell you what it's like in New York, California, Wyoming, Montana, Detroit. Well, Pablo's here in Florida. Apparently there's a lot of veterans of Florida, dude. I didn't realize how many vets are in Florida. But there's a ton of vets in Florida, right? You guys all over, you have to build your community about what you believe in and what you do, right? And you guys know me. I'm a huge cannabis advocate. Even my wife asks me sometimes, she's like, why are you so big into cannabis? And I just, I say, I speak the truth. It's changed my life, right? It changes who I am as a person, that I'm able to go and freaking live this somewhat normal life, right? I'm not in pain. My anxiety goes at bay. My depression goes to bay, and I'm here, right? And so this is one of the things, guys, is being able, what I love is that when I'm able to find like another jarhead like Pablo here, finding another jarhead that not only are we brothers, we both stood on the same freaking yellow footprints, raised our hand and said, I will defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestics, that has the same freaking basis, believe in what plant medicine can do for us, which has been great, But I'm able to bring Pablo on. He's another jarhead, like I mentioned before, right? And you guys I know how you guys feel about us jarheads. You guys always got to dog us and get, crack all these jokes about us, but we know we're the best. We know it. You know what I'm saying? But Pablo, yeah, man. So I'm super excited. So if you guys don't know, man, I caught Pablo off of Instagram, dude. This guy come across my feed. Like I said, a lot of my feed on Instagram is a bunch of cannabis-based people, right? A bunch of people who are advocating for cannabis, right? Legalization of cannabis. And when Pablo came across my feed, I was like, who is this guy? And it said 1620 Marine. I said, let me reach into this guy, see what he's up to, see what it's about. But he's got a great following. He's not only is he talking about breathworks. You guys have been watching my previous episode. He's about breathworks as well. So is he not only about cannabis, but he's also about breathworks and understanding how breathing techniques work when we're dealing with stress and everything that we deal with. You guys know, I've been telling you, I had Brittany on the show not too long ago, who actually got one of the staff favorites for the New York podcast, which is great. And that's one of the biggest things that she does here in Oklahoma. She travels across the cities here in Oklahoma in the metro, and she does classes for breathworks. You can actually go and sit in, and she'll do a free class with you for an hour and just teach you about breathing techniques and such, which is amazing, with White Rabbit, man. But today I'm able to bring Pablo on, man. I'm going to let Pablo tell you a little bit about himself, his journey while serving in our beloved Corps, so you guys can relate, so you guys can have a better understanding of who he is and why should I listen to this guy? Like, what type of vet is this guy, man? Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, Pablo?
Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate you, giving me a chance. Again, I know you're busy hustling, working on your show, family man, a veteran, dealing with mental health obstacles. But I truly appreciate you reaching out to me, because this is how we rebuild that community. We rebuild our veteran community. By what you did was reaching out to me, and you're in Oklahoma, I'm in Florida, you know what I'm saying? And this is what's so dope, is that now that we have first of all, we're bonded for life because we're Marines, right? So it's dope to have another brother now in Oklahoma that I can reach out to.
Right.
And on top of that, now I can understand what is going on in other veteran communities outside of my area. I'm in
Right.
Florida, you're in Oklahoma. I want to know what's going on, the veteran issues in Oklahoma, what the veterans are having there, what type of obstacles are they coming across, how is the VA and mental health facilities there. This is information that we need to pass along to each other, especially for our transitioning active duty members that are getting ready to transition out
Right.
and go into the civilian world. Having information like, hey, you know what? If you go to Florida, the James Haley, Bay Pine, they're good to go VAs. But if you
Right.
go to New York, the Bronx and Brooklyn VAs, they're a no go.
Right.
And same thing, people getting out and moving to Oklahoma. Hopefully they get that information as well. So I just truly appreciate you, reaching out to me and just being one of those righteous veterans that I have met along this path. And there's a lot of veterans I meet that do the bare minimum.
Oh no, absolutely, bro. There's a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because you meet a lot of veterans too that do stuff like this. That I'm for the veteran, I'm for the veteran, I'm for the veteran, and then when you get down to the nitty gritty, you're like, damn, dude, you in it for yourself, dude. I said, this sucks, man. Like, I had to find out the hard way that you're in it for yourself. You were never in it for the veteran. You're in it for yourself to see how you can make money or how you can get the fame for it. And I'm just like, gosh, dude, it sucks because there's a lot. There's a lot of people in our community, and that it sucks when it's a veteran, it's your own brother or sister that burns you harder than the freaking civilians do, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, brother, definitely. And that's why I love working with other veterans and networking with other veterans that are the righteous veterans. They're the elite veterans. They're the ones that are going above and beyond. I tell my veterans and patients that, especially my veterans, just because your contract ended doesn't mean your service to the country and your community ends.
No, absolutely.
And that's something that needs to be taught to the new veterans or the people leaving active duty, coming on to the civilian side, the civilian world, to know that, hey, you might not be a Marine anymore, active duty Marine, but you're definitely a Marine veteran. And this is what you need. This is what you need to do in order to be a veteran, to have that title as a veteran. And, shout out to all my veterans. And like I said, if you're doing a bare minimum, I understand, what I'm saying? Mentally, you might not be there. But again, in the Marine Corps, I was old 311, and old 311s, we're the laziest. You know what I'm saying? We're always trying to skate and do the bare minimum,
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, I see you trying to skate. But in this community and in this battle, this journey, especially the war on mental health, I like to call it the quiet war.
Right.
This battle that we're fighting, we need the elite. We need the righteous veterans. We need veterans going above and beyond, because the 22, as you can see that I'm wearing, is a real number that represents symbolically how many veterans we lose average a day, right?
Right.
And 22 doesn't seem like a lot when you talk to civilians. Like, oh, okay, 22, okay. But of course, when you're not losing people and not losing people you serve with, and seeing veterans that have taken their lives because they couldn't deal, right? Civilians don't really feel what we feel, right? But when I break the number up, right? When I say every single month we are losing 669 veterans a month, that wakes them up a little bit. But when I go a little deeper and say, you know what, every single year we're losing over 8,030 veterans, then they start to getting shot. But then when I go deeper and say, you know what, the next 5 years, the 5 years before this, we lost 40,000 veterans to suicide. And if we go 10 years, right, we're in 2022, we go to 2012, we lost 80,000 veterans. And then from 2002 to 2022, we've lost over 160,000 veterans to suicide.
Absolutely, brother.
So when you put that number in that micro level and people really see, it's an epidemic problem. And let me just go a little deeper, because this is what I do. This is the awareness that I'm trying to create. We're losing our veteran support system, right?
Yeah.
We're losing our spouses, our uncles, our aunts, our neighbors, our co-workers, our people, friendly strangers. We're losing that network, right? That support system, police officers, nurses, doctors, that support system, we're losing them at 130 a day, right? 130 a day we lose to suicide, 130 Americans, right? Let's go deeper. In the next month, we'll lose almost 3,900, right? In the next year, the numbers are 47,511 suicides we lose. That's the veteran, first responder, and Americans we lose in this country, right? Let's go even further. In the next 5 years, we're going to lose 237,000. In the next 10 years, we're going to lose 475,000. And in 2042, if we don't work on this issue as a collective, we're going to lose 950,000 Americans, including veterans and first responders, to suicide.
It's insane. That stuff's insane, right? You know what I'm saying? It is. It absolutely is. You know, that's one of the biggest things. And this is just coming from suicide, bro, like you're speaking, but nobody's ever talked about the opioid pandemic that we have going on top of this, right? This is just normal suicide because life's too hard, things aren't going our way, and we're just like, screw this, dude, I don't want to do this no more, right? But nobody ever talks about the opioid pandemic that we have and that people are dying from overdosing from the pharmaceuticals they're given, right? Because a lot of people, you go to a doctor and you're depressed, what's he going to do? He's going to give you some depression pills. You got muscle spasms, your back's killing, what's he going to give you? Some muscle relaxers, right? Anxiety, same thing, dude. Like the things that you deal with on a regular basis, the doctor's going to prescribe it to you if he finds it fit, right? But nobody ever talks about these freaking opioid pandemic that we have on top of this. So this is just normal suicide that people are committing. Double the numbers due to the opioids that we're given on a daily basis, man. So I guarantee if you looked at those numbers, them numbers going to double, if not triple, with that on top of it, right? And it's like you said, it's a silent killer, right? Yeah, a lot of people don't understand it, right? Especially like our community, right? We're veterans. We're strong. We're big. We're badass people. We strong. Nothing can harm us, right? When in actuality, we're the ones that are suffering and hurting the most. And you guys that are listening on the show, I know you guys can relate, right? You guys can definitely relate to what it feels like to feel like you're by yourself. There's nothing there. There's nobody there, right? And when you get out of service, right, that's one of the biggest things we reminisce about is that, fuck, I don't have Pablo there. Pablo's not there with me right now. You know what I'm saying? He's not. I remember I'd be able to go bullshit with him after a hard day of work. We go have a couple of drinks and just bullshit about the day and reminisce, right? And this is why I tell you guys about this show. If you guys don't want to listen to the show, it's cool. Just put it on in the background so you have noise in the background so you listen. Hey, that's RNG. I can hang out. You know what I'm saying? He's a cool guy, you know? But this is one of the biggest things, like Pablo, one of his missions, right? He's an 03 and he knows the mission. As any Marine, we all know the mission. You got to find the mission, right? You got to find the mission. What are you going to do to help conquer that mission? And Pablo here, he's doing big things in Florida. If you're in the Florida area, he's doing big things in Florida because he's want to make sure that his community's taken care of where he's at, man.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just doing what I can, man. Honestly, you know, I became 1620 Marine. When I left the Marine Corps in 2004, I was a combat Marine released into the civilian world. And yes. I caused a lot of havoc, lost a marriage, alcoholism, couldn't keep a job, you know, so I really, really had to go through a lot of obstacles to understand that, oh, okay, you know what, I can't operate like this. I can't operate as a combat Marine in the civilian world. So I had to work on myself. I had to change. I had to go to the root of the problem. Why am I so angry? Why am I drinking during the day? Why am I getting into bar fights? You know, like really stepping back and
And
asking
that's a
myself,
struggle, brother. That is a struggle. How long did it take you to realize this? To say I got to work on it. How long after you got out did you realize I got to do something? Like this ain't right.
so from 2004 to 2008, I was operating as a combat Marine in the civilian world. So
So for 4 years,
yeah, man. So 4 years straight. Literally, I had no. When I got out, we didn't. There was no talk about PTSD.
right?
There was no talk at that time in 2004. In 2008, my fiance at that time, she's a college counselor, and they were, veterans are coming back, and using their GI Bill, so they were doing like a counseling, and they said, oh, a lot of the veterans coming back might have PTSD. These are the symptoms. So they read all 15 symptoms. She came home, said, you have 14 out of 15 symptoms from PTSD. Now we know what's wrong with you. And from that day in 2008, that started my journey into the VA. That started me going through the psychotherapy, me doing outpatient. Then in 2010, my PTSD got to a point where it was out of control. I had to go inpatient. I was suicidal. I was drinking heavily, so I had to go inpatient. So I did a 90-day inpatient program. So I put myself through the gauntlet. You know, I really did. From 2008 to 2010, I half-assed my psychotherapy. I would miss a lot of appointments. I would not respect any of my counselors. I would take medication sporadically. Or, you found a combination. I was on 5 pharmaceuticals. I finally found a combination where I take 3 of them. It would give me like a high and stuff like that. I was.
And a lot of our guys that are listening in can relate to that, right? Because a lot of us are like that. A lot of us are like, I'll just take this every, like if you're taking an antidepressant or freaking, an anxiety or whatever, you're like, I'll take it today, miss 3 days, take it again, miss it. You're going to miss your appointments because you're like, I don't have time for this shit. Like, I'm not getting anything. It's not benefiting me to come and do any of this shit, And a lot of us deal with that. You're right. A lot of us, like what you're saying, a lot of us have gone through it, and a lot of us are like that. We're like, fuck this, dude. Like, it's not even doing anything for me, And you're saying, like, from 2004 to 2008, you were dealing with it, and you were still going from counseling from 2008 to 2010, right? And you're still like, fuck, this ain't doing nothing for me,
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys listening into this show, a lot of our audience, that's how they feel, right? A lot of them are still like, I've been out since 2009, man. It's 2022, and I still have issues that I'm dealing with that I'm just now starting to bring up and starting to work through, right? Starting to change my community, change up the things I listen to, the things I watch, and start learning, because it's all true. My wife's told me, she's like, the things you listen to, the things you watch, the people you hang out with, that's such a big influence on who you are. And if you would change it up, then you would have a better understanding. It will start changing your life up, And like for you said you were doing this in 2008, from 2008 to 2010, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And in between that time, I went through a divorce. I had a great wife. This is the truth, right? When I came back from war, 2004, got out, even up to 2008, my mind was still over in Iraq, but my body was here in the States. And that's how I operated from 2004 and 8. It was such a blur. I honestly, I don't even remember anything. Really just drank myself, just try to consume as much substance as I can to fight the pain. And just, I was very confused because my last, 6 months transition out of the military started my traumatic experience into the civilian world,
Right.
So I was already on very like hyper vigilant when I was getting out. And this is something I learned, going through this journey. It's called VTM. I don't know if many people have heard of this, but it's called the Veteran Trauma Matrix, right? Veteran Trauma Matrix. And if you learn anything from this podcast, learn this, right? VTM is basically, it's your perception of the world. And when you're a veteran, you're trained to be in survival and protection mode. So you're in a fight mode. And because you're in that fight mode, you're in that veteran trauma matrix and you perceive the world as a threat. So you perceive people, places, and things as a threat. And veterans have been in survival mode since they left active duty. A majority of their behaviors and actions have been based on survival and protection mode. Veterans have issues with mental health, unemployment, relationships, law, addiction, due to operating in a false state of mind, the veteran trauma matrix. Veterans see the world through a different lens, and the 8,030 veterans that we lose every single year is proof that we see the world in a different lens.
No, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things I talk about on my show on a regular basis. You guys that have been listening in for some time now, is that we suck at relationships. We absolutely suck at relationships, right? One of the biggest things, you talk to any veteran, hell, even Pablo here, he tell you, I'm on my second marriage. I'm on my third marriage. I'm on my fourth marriage, whatever the case may be. Why? Because we suck at relationships, right? One of the things I try to tell my audience is like, dude, when you go through boot camp, I mean, especially Marine Corps boot camp, the number one thing they do, they cut that emotional tie so you don't become emotionally connected to anything, right? The one thing they don't help you, though, is when it's time to come out, they don't help you try to rebuild that emotional connection that they severed in boot camp. They don't, right? We suck. Like me personally, I suck. I suck at having friendships. I suck with the relationship with my kids, the relationship with my spouse, just relationship in general with anybody or anything, right? I suck at having a relationship, you know? And you guys, I know you guys listening, you guys, I guarantee 90% of y'all are the same way. You suck at having a relationship with your friends, with your neighbors, with everybody you encounter, right? It sucks, right? Because we're living life. We work, we go work, we come home, we take the kids to practice, to whatever they're doing, ballet, baseball, soccer, football, whatever. And then whenever it's done, said and done for the day, it's 11, 12 o'clock at night. And you're just like, fuck, I didn't contact Pablo. I didn't even say, what's up, dude? How you doing today? You know what I'm saying? I didn't even get the chance to say, what's up, man? How you doing today? Or so-and-so texted me and I didn't even respond back to him because I've been so damn busy with work and everything else that's going on, right? And it sucks. You know what I'm saying? It does suck, right? Because that's one thing when we were in service, we always had him. Even if we hated that motherfucker, Pablo knows he was an 03. I guarantee you had some he had some squad leader or some freaking boot that he's like, I can't stand you. But he still bullshit with him, and he let him know he's still my brother. I still take care of you. I still got you 6, you know? And that's why my tag outline is like, we got you 6. Like, it's not just me. This podcast is just not my podcast. This is my audience podcast. These are them that are listening in. You guys that are listening in, this is your podcast. I am being a voice for you guys that are kind of scared to speak up about in regards to federal legalization of cannabis, plant-based medicines, right? Pablo, that's what he does. He speaks up. He speaks up for you guys, for those of us, because there's a lot of our brothers and sisters who can't find their voice. They're like, I don't know how to start. I don't know where to begin. I don't know what to do, right? And so we jump into it and we're like, look, I'll help you where I can. I'll help you on what my level that I can help you on, you know? And this is one of the things like you're saying and what like you're saying, dude, this is one thing that we suck at is emotional ties. We suck at having relationships, you know?
Yeah, 100%, brother. And, you know, the truth is, we are brainwashed in boot camp. You know, we got to be separated from the civilian, become a Marine. So the brainwashing is necessary. They're training soldiers, they're training Marines. Right. So, you know, we have to separate. So I understand that. But like you said, they don't have training after you get out, right? They don't put in the work. They put in all this effort and time and study to train you to be a killer, but they don't untrain you to be back to the civilian. And I think the military pushes that onto the VA. I think like, oh, well, you know, we're done with them. Why don't you take care of it? Because that's how I felt when I discharged from the military. It's like after I got I was no more affiliated. That's how I felt. Even though I was getting in and the way they kind of treated me as a short time of getting out. But I think the military pushes it onto the VA to try to do the transitional training, and the VA is just not. They're a hospital.
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right, dude. Like, I mean, for us, like when I went through TAPS, man, I was like, this is a joke, dude. Like, you get like a 2-week program, and you're just like, this ain't gonna do nothing for me when I get out, man. Like, there's not even emotional counselors in there to say, hey, this is what you're gonna deal with. Like, you're gonna deal with this. Like, this is gonna suck. but you're gonna realize that the people out there are not like you. You know what I'm saying? That you're gonna run into situations where you're just gonna be like, dude, this sucks. Like I can't relate to anything you guys are talking about or anything you're doing, you know? And it sucks, man, because like it's like you said, that they depend on the VA to be able to provide that for you, but at the same time the VA's failing because they're not doing anything for you. They're not really helping you in any way like they should be, like it was intended, like the program was intended to, you know? And it sucks, you know. Everybody jokes about it, but it's true. I mean, it's like they say, the VA giving the veteran another opportunity to die for his country because it sucks. The service sucks that they provide for us, you know. And I'm just like, when it comes to transition, right? They want to help you get your disability started. They try to get your resume somewhat together, but like you as an O3, you're like, what the hell can I really do as an O3 when I get out of serving my country? Like, you know, and you guys, you Army guys that don't know what O3 is, you're 11 bang bangs, dude. Just like you guys, you're 11 bang bangs, you know. It's like, and I was listening, I can't remember who I was listening to the other day, but he's like, dude, you can be more than just a cop. Like, you can actually become more than just a cop, you know. And it's hard, right? Because you've been doing it for so long, whether you're doing it 4 years, 14 years, or 40 years. There are things that you've learned in the military that you didn't realize you learned that you can actually incorporate into your civilian resume to make you look as a like a competitive employee for the company you want to go work for, you know? Or like majority of the people that I brought on my show last year, start your own business. Start your own, become an entrepreneur and be able to start your own business and be able to do the things that you want to do. Because I know a lot of vets are like, I ain't working for anybody ever again. That was enough for me. I ain't doing that again, you know. And a lot of people have that skill to be able to start their own business and become a successful small business owner, man. But I mean, that's what Pablo's doing here, and he's showing you, he's providing you guidance, and he's providing you numbers, right? That's one of the biggest things is numbers, right? Like in regards to federal legalization, that's one of the things that Mr. Brian Buckley over at Hellman Valley Grove Company, he asked his senators, what do I got to do to bring this up for federal legalization for cannabis? They said, we got to see numbers. So what did he do? Being a Marine, you tasked him with something. He said, all right, great. So he started his own multi-million-dollar research project in regards to how cannabis is beneficial for the veteran and how it helps with anxiety, depression, PTSD and such that we deal with, insomnia and such. And so he's doing it, and he's showing them numbers. He's presenting numbers to the Senate, right, to help fight for this federal legalization of cannabis, man. And it's what it takes is that all of us in every state, all 50 states, there are veterans that are consuming cannabis regardless if it's legal or not. Hands down, right? Because we know the medicinal benefits that it provides for us, right? We know how it makes us feel. A lot of us, it helps us go to work every day. It helps us wake up to go to work every day. It helps us go to practice for our kids, go to their baseball practice, their football practice, and sit there for hours on end while they're practicing. It allows us to be able to drive to work and be mentally focused and concentrated on the way to work while we're at work, you know. And this is one of the things that you guys know how much I am, how much I am like, this is ridiculous that you guys can drink on your lunch break, but God forbid I go smoke a blunt to get my head right to be able to finish out the day, right? But you can have 3 or 4 beers at lunch and come back to work and be just all right, you know. And that's one of the things that you guys know how I feel about that, you know. But this is one of the things, just being able to understand. I mean, and Pablo here, that's one of his big missions right now. That's what he's doing in Florida, is helping the veteran community in his state and being able to help understand, right, with breathworks. I mean, that's a big thing, dude. You're not the only veteran to tell me about it. You're like the 3rd or 4th guy to tell me about these breathworks. And I'm like, I don't know. I want to try it, but I'm like, I don't have the patience for it.
Hey, brother, man, I'm telling you, Devil Dog, if I did it, anyone could do it, because the truth is I was against breath work and meditation. I was the type, you know, like, I'm not doing that hippie stuff like breath work. Right. Like, you know, I'm an athlete. I work out. I play basketball. Like, my breath work is good. Trust me. Right? But yes, when I was in the inpatient PTSD program in 2010, our makeup was, there was about 25 beds. 5 beds were 9/11 veterans, and the other 20 beds were Vietnam veterans. So I was in there with Vietnam veterans, and I saw this Vietnam veteran, badass. He was a long-range reconnaissance LRP, right? And he had a necklace with a Buddha on it. And, you know, we're doing some trauma treatment. So we're getting into everyone's trauma. And he shared some of his trauma, and then he's like, after his trauma, you could see him sit back and then do some breath work. And then afterwards, I asked him, like, what were you doing? He's like, I was meditating because I was trying to channel the, all that trauma out in a positive way. And I just thought to myself, I said, if this badass Vietnam veteran is using this meditation, hippie stuff and spiritual stuff to help with his mental health, I'm going to give it a try.
Right.
And since that day, I was learning about Buddhism. I was learning about breath work. And then really, I associated my mental health with meditation, because when you meditate, you're going internal. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're not worrying about the external world. You're going internal. And then the only way to heal from PTSD is internally. Mm-hmm. So I put 2 and 2 together, and then that's when I started the meditation. And then about 2 years ago, I started something with other veterans called the 22 breath meditation. And it's just taking 22 breaths, right? And just taking time out your busy day to be mindful, and to take 22 breaths. You do about 20, you breathe in and out about 22,000 times a day. So all we're asking is to take 22 breaths to be mindfulness, reset, regroup your thoughts, and it just helps you have like more momentum going into the end of the day. It's kind of like when you make your bed every morning, when you in the military, they teach you to make your bed every morning. They don't tell you why, but the mental health about it is every day you have a win. By you waking up and making your bed and doing action, you have a win. And that's what meditation is. Like every time you meditate, you win. And for me, it just got to a point where I've been meditating in the morning, evening, nighttime, and it just helps me with my anxiety. It helps me so much with my anger, because that was the main issue of my PTSD is anger. I just allowed anger to take over. I allowed the Marine anger to really take over. And when a Marine gets angry, like stand by, like he's gonna fuck some shit up,
right,
So,
right.
But so meditation has helped, and now I just try to tell veterans and people like, yo, just try it, just
right.
give it a try. It has worked for me, and our ancestors have been doing this for thousands and thousands of years.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And meditation for me goes along with plant medicine. It goes along with medicating. When you medicate on plant medicine, it puts you in that higher consciousness, and when you're in a higher consciousness, you're vibrating higher. That's when the meditation allows you to go deep into your mind. And
right.
What I like to say when you meditate is you have to go deep into your mind. And meditating is not how long you meditate. Oh, well, I meditated for 22 seconds, or I meditated for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You're not really meditating. Meditating is how deep do you go into your mind? What are you meditating about? What is the visions you're seeing, and what are you fixing? Because that's what meditation is, going deep into your mind and fixing things and seeing things and really taking over. So your ego, or demons, I like to say. And what I say about, demons, of course, is hypothetical. We don't have any actual demons in you. But what I like to say, if you allow trauma to live in you, that trauma, that negative energy is going to turn into a demon. And what I like to say is that demon is PTSD. PTSD is a wall you need to dismantle brick by brick to uncover the demons that have been feeding you lies. So that's what I like to say is when you don't work on your trauma and you just allow it to run wild, then those traumas, they slowly get stronger and stronger. And like I said, anger was one of my demons. I just allowed the anger get stronger and stronger, but I had a wall in front of it protecting it. And I just allowed that demon of anger just to really, really self-destruct. I self-destructed from 2004 to 2012, so listening to that demon. But it's imperative to know that, going internally, working on you internally, using meditation, using plant medicine. And let me tell you, brother, it's hard work.
Yeah.
trauma before the military, I have trauma during the military, and I have trauma after the military. So it's just like when you hit one of the traumas, you're like, boom, it opens up. There's more. It's like peeling back the layers of the onion. You're like, damn, 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 you know? And
Yeah.
it takes a lot of work. And, you know, all shout out to all my righteous veterans. I salute you. All my righteous veterans that have put in the work to get better, to understand that, you know what, I don't have to be angry every day. I don't have to be this way. I don't have to be depressed every day. I don't have to have anxiety every day. So when you put in the work and do the psychotherapy, and I know, trust me, I know my vets, it sucks going to the VA, but the truth is, they're all we got.
Right.
There's not other organizations and billion trillion dollar, you know, Google, Facebook, you know, Amazon, $1 trillion companies that have put aside hospitals and facilities and all this. The VA is all we got, you know what I'm saying? So there are good VA systems, there are bad VA systems. That's why, you know, I'm trying to build that network of veterans so we know which VAs are good, so you can get the top psychotherapy. For me, I navigated in New York City. So I started out in the Bronx VA. Then I found a great VA, Montrose VA. And that VA is where I had a paradigm shift in my mental health. That's when I started seeing the benefits of psychotherapy. And then, you know, adding the plant medicine. And Sergeant G, let me tell you, I didn't start using cannabis until I was 32 years old.
Yes, well,
When I was going through psychotherapy and trauma treatment, I didn't have plant medicine. I didn't use it. I was against plant medicine.
Yeah. No, it's crazy because it's that's the bigger thing with, I mean, especially with our audience, a lot of people who are listening in because they're listening in from around the world, you know. That's one of the biggest things, the stigma that's been presented before it, right? The presented before it's a plant medicine. It's a drug is what they always say, you know. And it's a lot of people, you know, not just yourself. There's a lot of people that are like, man, I never even thought I would ever use this. But when you actually take the opportunity, like you said, you meditated, you were doing breath works, and you're like, well, let me try this now. And when you incorporate it in regards to your breath works and your meditation, it takes it to a whole new level, right? You're actually pulling back the peel of that onion a little bit more and a little bit more and working on what you're dealing with. Like you said, anger. 95% of us that are listening to this show that served our country, that served their country, that's one of the biggest things we deal with is anger, right? When shit don't go our way, we get super angry, right? Or we're just angry people and we just get upset about a lot of things, right? A lot of things that you shouldn't even be angry about, you know? Because my wife says, "Why are you so mad right now?" And I'd be like, "I really don't know. Like, why did I get so upset and so frustrated?" You know? And this is one of the things, guys, is that understanding, like Pablo said, he was 32 when he first started using cannabis to actually see, oh shit, I like how this makes me feel. Like this is actually working. Like this can get me through the day, you know? And to have a
Changed
good
my
understanding,
life.
right? To have a better understanding about it, you know what I'm saying? To be able to understand, like, how can this work for me, right? You know, a lot of people look at it, right? And you people, oh, you use weed, so you just sit around and get stoned and veg out and do shit like this and do, you know, watch movies all day and just munchies and all this. And I'm like, no, not by any means, dude. Like, I will consume cannabis just to go to work so I can focus on my job and get my job done for the day. I will consume cannabis so I can get outside and mow the yard and weed eat and edge and get everything done what needs to be done, right? I was like, you guys don't understand is that stigma that was given to cannabis was part of a government enterprise to show you guys that it was bad for you, right? When you guys can actually sit down and actually look and say, okay, I mean, look, I got Chris Meyer he out of Florida too. He's an Army guy out of Florida. He's a fitness model. He's part of the 5% club. He's like, dude, I consume cannabis before my workout every day. He said that's the only way I can get through my workout is if I'm high, you know? But it's true. Like I tell you guys that have been listening in on my Wednesday episode, you guys can understand, you guys can hear how out of the 6 weeks that I've been doing this, all 6 terpenes are, guess what? Anti-inflammatories. Being a veteran, we are inflamed. Our neck hurts, our back hurts, our shoulder hurts, our knees hurt, our legs hurt, our feet hurt, our body hurts. We are inflamed. When you're able to consume cannabis that is an anti-inflammatory, guess what? Why do you think you get the giggles? Because you are not hurting. Why are you not angry? Because you're not hurting, right? And this is one of the things I try to tell people, right? You guys are already consuming terpenes on a daily basis. You guys are already consuming terpenes on a daily basis. You never even knew it. 90% of you never even knew that you are already consuming the 6 terpenes that I'm gone through this week. You guys didn't even realize it, right? And you're like, dang, dude. And now it's probably enlightened you a little bit. Be like, let me see how that makes me feel. Oh, I'm really not hurting as bad. If I smell that, my body doesn't hurt nowhere near as bad, right? Well, if I eat this, yeah, I feel pretty good, you know? And that's one of the biggest things, guys. It's not just me, but it's Pablo, the 1620 Marine, is helping educate our community into understanding how meditation works, how breath works, how plant-based medicine works, how you can incorporate it into your daily life and be able to help treat the issues that we deal with, right? Anger, anxiety, depression, PTS, all these different things that we deal with. It's not just me. There are other veterans who are using this stuff to be like, look, dude, let me tell you how it's working for me. Let me tell you how this has been helping me, right? Because like I tell you guys, everybody's chemical makeup is different. Something works different for everybody. Like what works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. But this is one of the things that my goal is to help educate, right? I'm sure Pablo's goal is to help educate, right? Because that's all we can do. We can't make you do it, but we can help provide insight and help educate you so that if you guys are kind of sketchy and don't know anything about it, let us help give you an educational piece on how this has been helping us, right, Pablo?
We would like to give a huge thanks to Rafa 180. Rafa 180 offers pure medicinal CBD and products made locally. They walk alongside individuals to achieve a healthy lifestyle with options needed by each person. You can learn more about them on Facebook at Rafa CBD, their website www.rafa180.com, or email at rafacbd@gmail.com. They truly believe your journey matters.
You said it all, brother. Outstanding. And what I do, what makes me unique, besides I'm a Marine, simplified, is that I combine plant medicine education and mental health education together.
Right.
So I combine the both, because that's where my expertise is in both. And just to add to what you were saying is, I was one of those veterans that was against cannabis for a long time. I did sports. Family had a lot of addiction in the family. My father was an NYPD cop, was in the government, worked for the military, then the government. So I just didn't have a chance to do it. And I was also against it as well. That's actually how I divorced my first wife, was because she was smoking weed to deal with me. Right. And ironically, now I advocate. So we have a good relationship after she found out. But yeah, I was lied to, about this plant. I grew up in the 80s, I'm a product of the war on drugs and the DARE program.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they disrespected and mistreated cannabis and how they demonized it was just unbelievable what they did. I remember as a kid how I associated cannabis with crack. Right. That's literally how I associated the two, is exactly that. Literally, that's how it was taught. It was like that, right?
Right.
But the truth is, the first time I medicated was with my cousin. He said, listen, your PTSD is so out of control. I'm worried for you. Do this. And my cousin has been a pothead since he was 18 years old, right? He's my best friend. I didn't know he consumed cannabis until he was like 31.
Yeah.
Because I was that guy that'd be like, you're throwing your life away. Like, I'm going to go tell your mom. Like, I'm going to go take your shit and flush it. Like, I was that type of dude, right? But when he gave it to me, and it was sour diesel, that was the first strain that I got high off. And what I remember, it was a vaporizer too. It was off a vape. I didn't burn. I still don't burn.
Vapor. You a vapor. So you're getting it all. You're getting all the good stuff out of it.
It's called a Magic Flight Box. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't heard of that
box with a battery, a string. You put the battery, and it heats it up.
Oh
And when
man.
I consumed and the entourage effect started taking place and the THC, CBD, all the cannabinoids went through my system, Sergeant G, you know what was the first thought I had in my mind?
Why the hell have I not been doing this longer?
Exactly. I said, I've been lied to my
My
whole
whole
fucking
life,
life.
right?
This is what they're saying. That's what I was saying in my mind. So, that was in 2012. And ever since then, I've been on this mission to learn about it, to really educate it. And the deeper I got into it, I saw the true story. I saw Harry Aslinger, what he did in the 30s and 50s to
Right.
demonize, what the Nixon did in the 60s with the hippies and all that.
Hmm.
And then 80s, I just couldn't believe,
It's
and then
insane.
doing the history and learning that our ancestors, our Egyptian ancestors,
Right.
Kemet, they've been using this for 5,000 to 10,000 years. And, even overseas, you see all the studies and research, especially
Yes.
Israel, Dr. Raphael Meshulam, who discovered the first cannabinoid, right?
Right.
He discovered the receptors, I think it was,
Yep.
or cannabinoids, both.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you could see that America has like always not allowed this plant to really thrive in America.
Right.
And that's one thing why I fell in love with Mary Jane, is because I was like, damn, like she kind of got what like I got growing up, being a dark skinned
Right.
man growing up, racism and stuff. I was like, damn, can't Mary Jane went through the same shit,
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
it's true, brother, and that's one of the biggest things, guys. Like a lot of people who are against it, who are like, like you said, you grew up in the '80s, and that was the big Dare program and all this stuff, right? It's as bad as crack cocaine and all this stuff, right? That's the stigma that gets given it. Like when I was a kid, I smoked weed, but I smoked weed as a recreational thing, like just to get high. Like I never understood the medicinal benefits of it, right? But being grown now and actually understanding how this helps treat PTS, anxiety, depression, just put you in a good mood. It's like, man, like, wow, this is, like you said, this is a game changer. Like, I feel good. Like, this is, I don't hurt right now. Like, this is great, And this is what I try to tell my audience is that when you can incorporate a good CBD and a good THC together and you get that full entourage effect, dude, like this is the best feeling in the world. Like seriously, you're not hurting, you're full of energy and you're just go, go, go. And you're just like, this is great. I feel like a kid again, And this is one of the things, guys. I said, can you overindulge in cannabis? Absolutely. Like anybody who overindulges in alcohol. Same way, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can, but there's a time and a place, right? There's a time and a place for everybody to be able to overindulge. And that's one thing I try to tell everybody is that if you want to overindulge, just make sure your crap's taken care of for the day, right? Make sure all your stuff's taken care of for the day if you're going to overindulge, right? Take a Saturday night, put on a movie, and just hang out and chill and just freaking smoke to your desire and just veg out, dude. Like there's a time and place, but when you can actually use cannabis and have an understanding, like this strain gave me energy, this strain made me chill, this strain took away the pain, this strain did this. It's one thing I stress to you guys about on a regular basis, to keep a journal on what works for you. What strain, what kind of terpenes were in that strain, and how did it make you feel? So next time you go to a dispensary, if you're lucky enough to go to a dispensary, you can go, hey, I need this flower. If you don't have that flower, I need these terpenes. What flower has these terpenes in it? Because you knew how it made you feel. And that's one of the biggest things, help educate yourself, right? Everything I tell you guys about, one of the things you have to do is educate yourself, right? Everything I tell you, take it like a grain of rice, dude. Take it like a grain of rice. Am I telling you the truth? Am I lying? Go look it up yourself and let me know, right? Let me know. If I'm lying, let me know that I'm lying so I can fix myself. So I don't want to look like the fool who's spreading gossip and spreading nonsense, right? Let me know so I can help educate and fix myself, right? Because I'd rather fix myself than look like an idiot, And I know Pablo would be the same way too. If he's wrong, let him know he's wrong so he can fix it, But that's one of the biggest things, guys, is understanding. Like I tell you guys every week, is that plant-based medicine has been around for thousands of years. The Egyptians used freaking plant-based medicines. Native Americans used plant-based medicines. Hell, they still use plant-based medicines in China and Japan and all over Asia. They're still using plant-based medicines. Why? Because they don't want the pharmaceuticals. They know what the pharmaceuticals can do. And it's like Pablo said, the first time he smoked sour diesel, which is an amazing strain, he was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this made me feel like this. Like, I feel good right now, you know? And for a lot of you who are still skeptical about it, dude, like I said, take it easy. Try a little bit at first. I don't want you going out and smoking you a fat blunt and you don't even know what strain it is, what terpenes are in it, or how it's going to make you feel, right? Is it indica? Is it sativa? Is it a hybrid? What is it? What kind of flower is it? That's the biggest thing, is to have an understanding of how does this work? How do I know how to consume it, right? It's a journey. When you start getting into cannabis and trying to figure out the terpenes and understanding how it works and what it does for you, it's a journey to try to figure it out. But once you're doing it, you're like, damn, this was a good journey. Like, I was able to find the strains that work for me, the terpenes that work for me, you know? And that's one of the biggest things, Pablo. I know with what you're doing with the breath works and the meditation, that's definitely something I want to get into, is starting to be able to do that myself so that I can work on myself, right? And I know the audience that's listening in, I know you guys are the same way. Like, how many of your marriages, how many of your boyfriends or girlfriends are you freaking abusing, or, you know, they know you because of you, they feel like shit because you're not working on you, right? And for you, Pablo, that's one thing you discover, that you have to work on you, right?
Yeah, brother, that's what it comes down to, man. The accountability mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Any David Goggins fans here, he talks about that. The
Right.
accountability mirror. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you hold yourself accountable. So that's the path that you know, I try to show other veterans. Like, I wasn't willing to put in the work, but that's why my life was failing. That's why I was going deeper and deeper into a hole. But as soon as I started putting in the work, and like I said, man, psychotherapy is hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard. You got to go deep into your mind. You got to go relive traumas, and then, you know, you just don't want to do it, right? People just don't want to do it at times. But it's the people, the veterans, even my you know, my civilians, because, you know, PTSD doesn't have to. You don't get PTSD just from the military. You get PTSD from anything in life. Life is hard. You're gonna get PTSD. So that's what I, you know, try to tell my civilian counterparts. Like, no matter where you get your trauma from, if you don't address that trauma, it gets stored into you, and then forever you're going to have to deal with the consequences. So once you deal with that trauma and put in the work and understand it, process it, make peace with it, then you can operate in PTG, post-traumatic growth. And
Ooh.
when you operate post-traumatic growth, it's a game changer. This is 1620 Marine. 1620 Marine, the Marine you see is operating post-traumatic growth. And basically what PTG is when you overcome trauma, you make peace with it, and you move forward and you heal from it. That's what post-traumatic growth is, you know? And it took me a long time to understand that. It took me a long time to realize, like, damn, I have to put in the work. Like, no one else is going to do it for me. No matter how many counselors I see, no matter how many groups I see, no matter how much medication, how much plant medicine, like, I have to do the work. I have to do the psychotherapy. I have to work myself. And I like to say that I targeted the 4 demons that were really destroying my life. I call them the demons of SAD. S is suicide ideation. A is anxiety, A is anger, and D is depression. Those 4 demons, I had to fight them. I had all out battle, you know, in the mind. And, you know, that's what I say about my presentation I do is it's called Quiet Weapons for Quiet Wars. You got to use quiet weapons to fight these quiet wars. Quiet wars is PTSD. Quiet weapons is mental health, plant medicine. And once I was able to overcome some of these demons and make peace, I realized, like, damn, I could do this again. And then I did it again. And then I did it again. And like I said, I have a cemetery of demons that I buried, right? And it just takes time. And everyone has done it. Everyone has operated in post-traumatic growth. Everyone has overcome an obstacle. Like I said, my civilians, I know you go through trauma. I know you've been through trauma too. And please don't minimize your trauma next to a veteran. You know, if it's trauma to you, you went through trauma. Understand that no matter where we got our traumas from, we all can heal together because we're addressing the symptoms, right? We all suffer from the same symptoms: suicide ideation, anxiety, anger, depression. And together we can really overcome. And one of the things I love to tell people is that we're stronger together. Like,
Right.
you don't have to fight these demons by yourself. You don't have to do it by yourself. Reach out to your support system, your spouse, your best friends, friendly neighbors. Like, you don't have to do this by yourself. I did it by myself because, just like you, Sergeant G, we have that Marine Corps mentality. In the Marine Corps, when you ask for help, it's a sign of weakness.
Right.
And it took me a very long time in the civilian world to learn that when you ask for help in the civilian world, it's a sign of strength.
Right.
So it's key to reach the support system. I was very lucky that I had a great support system that I neglected, right? Because when we isolate ourselves, when we're so deep in our traumas and so deep in our depression, I neglected my support system. I didn't reach out to nobody.
Right.
And that was a mistake I made. It was a fatal mistake because that's when that's when the suicide ideation came. And I literally was forced to retire from my job because I was just too suicidal.
Right.
And yeah, so this journey is, listen, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Right.
I've been on this journey since 2004. It's 2022. I still struggle every day. Like you said, Sergeant G, I'm an OG. I got out in 2004.
Yeah.
I still have the emotions and feelings and mindset of like I just got out yesterday or last week
Right.
or last
Right.
month.
Oh no, I'm
You
the
know?
same way too, bro. I'm the same way, dude. I
Yeah.
feel like I just
But
got out.
what I'm
Yeah.
learning is to keep some of the good Marine Corps habits and to let go and release all the Marine Corps habits that don't serve me in the civilian world, you know. And
Right.
it's a transition and it's hard, and you really, you really need someone to guide you. You really need like a
Right.
mentor. You need to be around another veteran that has done it, so he kind of help you towards that righteous path that we're all looking for. Because I know all my veterans are just looking for that righteous life where they could be positive, they could serve, have a good family, and and be proud that we serve this country. And that's why I love my veterans, man. I truly love, I was forced to retire in 2010. I'm 100%, service connected. I'm disabled, but my mission is to serve veterans, to serve my community. So just like all my other veterans I meet, man, I'm dedicating my life to veterans, serving veterans. And most importantly, my specialty is working with the Vietnam veterans.
Yeah.
Like, those are my heroes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm dedicated in doing everything I can to help them. I'm in American Legions. I'm in VFWs. I go everywhere I can to speak to American Legions and VFW members and just tell them, because they're still so stuck. I literally have Vietnam veterans that don't talk to me about those drugs. I don't want anything to do with your drugs. And man, it breaks my heart, man. It breaks my heart because they rather drink a bottle every single day and deal with their pains and emotions that they've been dealing with the last 40, 50 years, 60 years.
Right.
And it's just so sad, man. So, I'm really, working on spreading the word. And again, it's just me. I'm just one veteran of millions of veterans, just like yourself, just like all the, shout out to Chris Mayhem. We do stuff together.
Yeah.
I'm just fortunate that I'm able to be in a mental state where I can serve, because 5-10 years ago, I was not there, man.
Right.
But I love being around other veterans. I love meeting veterans like you that are doing things, like taking initiative.
Right.
That's how I know you're a righteous veteran, because you take initiative. You're doing this podcast. You know how many veterans I hear talk the talk?
Right.
But Sergeant G, you talk the talk and you walk the walk, and you are an asset to our veteran community. And I appreciate your service for the country, and I appreciate your service afterwards and what you're doing for the veteran community. And I really, really love seeing my other righteous veterans and especially Marines like killing it, like being real leaders. Like we're the tip of the spear, like leading from the front. That, yeah, man.
No, brother, absolutely, brother, absolutely. It's been freaking amazing, dude. Like I'm saying, I mean, it's part of breaking that stigma. That's the biggest thing, is breaking the stigma that's been placed on this plant. It's just a plant, dude. It's something that grows out of the ground. There's nothing big about it. There's nothing big shebangs about it, dude. There's a lot of medicinal benefits while using this plant, right? And this is one of the biggest things that we have to do as a community. This is one thing I tell you guys on a regular basis. Is cannabis legal in your state?
It's only medicinal, medical card.
Yeah.
We have a vertical system, just like Oklahoma.
And so it's just like Oklahoma. So that's my biggest thing for you guys, right? So I talked to Tony Landry out of Louisiana. He just got it to where if you have a medical card in any state, you're able to consume cannabis in Louisiana with your medical card, which is great, which should be like that. That should be like that in all 50 states, right? In every state. If you live in a state that doesn't have cannabis legalized for medicinal use or recreational use, what are you doing to fix that, right? That's one of the biggest things, guys, that you have got to get out and start talking to your senators in your state. You got to figure out, what does it take to put something on a ballot? Here in Oklahoma, we just got, this November, they're putting recreational on the ballot this November. And I already know it's going to pass because medicinal passed. They're going to pass for the recreational here. And it takes, what they told us, it takes like 90,000 signatures. And we got up close to 120,000 signatures to get this on a ballot, which is phenomenal. Which is phenomenal, right? So that we know at least 120,000 people are going to get out there and vote to legalize cannabis, right? At a minimum. And those are the people that they were able to reach. What about those that they were not able to reach on top of that, right? And so this is what I'll tell you guys. In whatever state you live in, if cannabis is not legal, what are you doing to make a movement happen? Being a veteran, we can make movements happen. You just got to start reaching out to other people. Like I said, I just met Pablo out of Florida. I know a crap ton of people out of Florida. Now, there's a crap ton of veterans out of Florida. And I reach out to them on a regular basis. Hey, man, I got somebody out there in Florida that needs some help. And any one of them reach out to them and say, I got you, dude. I'll take care of you. Let me come by. I'll help you out. I'll take care of you, right? And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to support our community and support those other veterans that are around us. Because I guarantee you there's veterans in your area, in your state, that will support what your mission in regards to cannabis, man. So, Pablo, we're getting close to the end of the show, man. How do you want to leave the audience? What do you want to leave them with?
Oh man, you mean honestly, what I would love to leave them with is just this gem of information called Canameds. Canameds, CANNAMEDS, and what it stands for. Canna is plant medicine, M is meditation, E is exercise, D is diet, S is sleep. Those 5 elements give you, right? Those 5 elements is what gives you the wellness that helps you operate in post-traumatic growth. So Canna is just using any type of plant medicine. You THC, CBD, CBN, CBG, Delta 8, herbs, teas, shrooms, psilocybin, any type of plant medicine is good. Use plant medicine as part of your regimen, right? M is meditation. Meditation is important. Focus on doing 22 breaths. Again, if you've never done meditation, just do 22 breaths. It's an introduction to meditation. And remember, meditation is good for internal healing, self-love, mindfulness, and it connects you beyond the body. Allows you to go beyond the body, right? Exercise. We know exercise is so important because it releases endorphins, right? For me, if I don't exercise, that's how I know I'm going back into my depression. So to me, exercise is so important for my mental health. Just like David Goggins says, a healthy body leads to a healthy mind. And that is what it's done for me. It's given me a healthy mind to exercise. And again, just, I want all my veterans, because we all have leadership and training. I just want you to be, exercising healthy, man. I want you to live long. I want you to, be active, because you are leaders in this community. You have the most amazing training and experience, and I want you to be able to share that. Diet is important, right? because the source of food you put in you is your fuel. So be mindful what you put in your body. Remember that the number one killer is not suicide in veterans and Americans, it's heart disease. Cardiovascular disease kills more veterans than anything else. So that means the stuff you put in your body, type 2 diabetes is like the 7th leading killer. We lose 100,000 people to diabetes every year. So just, the exercise and diet goes hand in hand. And then the last one from Canameds is sleep. And sleep, I think, is next to meditation, is one of the most important one. And it's recovery, not only physically, but mentally. It's mental recovery, right? It takes brain power to be stressed. It takes brain power to make decisions. It takes brain power to move in the world, right? So you need to rest so you can recharge. And sleep is important because it improves your mental health, right? It helps you recover. Try to sleep at least 7 hours a day. Find what's best for you. Sleep, same time. Sleep routine is important. Go to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time if you want to have better quality sleep. And then last thing, most important, is the blue wave light interferes with sleep pattern. So stop being on your phone right before you go to bed and wondering why you can't fall asleep all night. The blue wave light on phones and TVs, right, interferes with your sleep pattern. So I use Canameds every single day. Plant medicine, meditation, exercise, diet, sleep, and I operate in post-traumatic growth, and I just want to pass that on to my veterans and patients. Just try it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
just try it.
Brother.
You never know what it will grow into.
No, absolutely, brother. And like you said with sleep, right? You guys know that's one of the biggest things that I stress about with what Rafa 180 provides you, right? Like he said, you're doing your cannabinoids, right? Rafa 180 provides an amazing sleep aid. It's called the Sapphire. It's got Sapphire and Night Ops, right? Sapphire is the oil tincture, and the Night Ops is a pill format for those of you that have stomach issues that really can't consume oils, right? All have CBN in it, so guess what CBN does? CBN is almost like a sedative. It actually calms your mind before you go to bed, so you're not thinking about everything you got to do tomorrow. I'll have a hyperlink in the description box below, man. Everything from Mr. Pablo, Mr. 1620 Marine. I'm going to have all his contact information in the description box, however you listen to this show. Like I said, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and share button so that you guys know when new content is coming out on a weekly basis. I'll have every way you can reach out to him. If you guys are on Instagram, check out the 1620 Marine. He's posting stuff every single day in regards to meditation and breath works and everything. It's amazing the content he's putting out there on a daily basis to help us have a better understanding in regards to Canameds, to meditate, to breathe. Right? That's the biggest struggle we have, is not breathing. We suck at breathing, right? Before you go after it, take a deep breath and assess it, then attack it. So you know which way to attack it. So you're not letting your anger take over how you're feeling, your emotions, right? And we suck at letting our emotions get the better of us, Pablo, I appreciate you hanging out with me today, brother. I appreciate being able to come out here and do this. I know time and time again, like I said, life happens. It's like, man, I got to get you on it. But we're here, brother, and I appreciate the wonderful opportunity to be able to do this, to be able to share what you're doing as well to my community, man. Wherever you guys are listening around the world and here in the U.S., man, like I said, I hit another freaking thing on the New York podcast, top podcast. They picked another episode this week for me with the Mercine episode that I did last week, man. Like I said, this is not my podcast. This is your podcast. I'm here to help educate you guys and help break that stigma and help educate for those of you that are willing to try it, who are willing to step out on a ledge, right? Because you've tried everything else and nothing else is working. Let us help educate you and help just provide you some insight on how plant-based medicine can help treat those many things, man. Like I said, go check out my sponsor, Rafa 180. That's Romeo Alpha Papa Hotel 180.com to get all your medicinal grade CBD needs. Don't forget to go over to Veteran Podcast Awards and vote. Let's get those votes in so that we can bring home some more awards, brother. Let's do it. It's because of you guys that I'm able to win these awards. I don't do it by myself. It's because you, my listeners that are listening in. Wherever you're at around the world, I have the hyperlink in the description box. Leave me a 5-star review when you get an opportunity, wherever you're listening at, man. Thanks, Pablo. Thanks for hanging out with me, man. Remember, guys, every Friday, new episodes come out. Every Wednesday, new episodes come out. Got some great things happening, man. Remember, guys, I love you. You're very important. Nobody can do what you can do, regardless of how you feel today. You are the only one that can do what you do. If you're going to consume cannabis, consume it responsibly. Enjoy it. Enjoy that time while you're in that high. Enjoy it while you can. Write down how it makes you feel so you know where to go next time whenever days are just too hard, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, man. Remember, guys, here at the Stone Vet, we got your 6.
1, 2, 3, 4 for my country, I go hardcore. Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marine the Stone Vet, Stone Vet, 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 the Stone Vet, the Stone Vet. I gotta